And in fact, there's another contra trend that's happening is even as the dollars are going up to AI, human replaces inefficiency. I don't have the data on SMBs, but in bigger companies, especially in the enterprise, folks they're still under mandates to shrink the number of vendors each year. Every year they're still going in and they're saying, we have 200 SaaS vendors, we have 115. Our goal is to cut this by 10% each year. And if you're in that bottom 10%, you're going to get cut. You're going to get cut. And so lots of point solutions. It's especially still crippling a lot of sales productivity tools. They're still getting cut each year. Like Gong was one of the first to hit it, and then they rebounded because they turned this around. Like when Gong was a tool, they were one of the first to get cut in the downturn because everyone was like, no one ever said we didn't love Gong, but they're like, oh, it's built into Outreach, it's built into SalesLoft, it's built into Zoom Info. We'll use a crappy version of Gong, not even to save money, but because our company said we had to cut the number of vendors. So they got slaughtered by that. Then Gong turned it around and built the entire platform that is now bigger than their competition. Now their competition's getting cut because it's in Gong. Right? So there's this vendor rationalization that if you're old school, you have to deal with. So there's these countercurrents. There's tons of money in AI. There's tons of money for efficiency. There's growing amounts of money to replace humans that are unwilling to work. The budgets are higher for software than ever, but the budgets for 2021 software are declining. So it's and so people ask, is SaaS dead? It's like a meme for VCs. The SaaS of 2019 to 2021 is probably kind of dying. It's kind of dead. I mean, it's geriatric. It's not dead, but it's on the rocking chair. But B2B software is on fire. On fire. Anthropic 1 to 5 billion all enterprise spend, all B2B spend in 6 months. I mean, we've never seen that, right? So again, I'm giving it's a lot for founders to process, but you have to understand these conflicting currents. And you have to understand why some folks are going to say this is the world's worst time and we're in the horrible and other folks are like, Jesus Christ, things are great. We're growing faster than ever. And another thing you'll see, if you talk to investors that have exposure, like a lot of their portfolio, one interesting, you can see it on Twitter because I saw it myself just this last quarter that or July, right? That's just happening. The best ones are all doing better. Gorgeous actually did better this last quarter than the prior quarter, as an example. Owner acceleration is crazy, but Revenue Cat, which has a lot of like B2C, D2C exposure, I mean, the chart is off the charts. And so if you're tap into these trends the right way, these are friggin' good times. It's just stressful because of the amount of change, and it's stressful that there's no moats.
Yeah.
That's stressful.
On that point, I am curious how you think about these companies that have been around for 5, 10 years or longer, how they should actually go about the process of transforming into kind of an AI first company, because you can't just flip a switch, right? There's so much that happens there in terms of people and process and
Yep.
maintaining old customer bases and all of that kind of stuff. Like, so how do you think about that with the companies that you work with?
Look, I know it's neither e-commerce nor SMB, but if you want to have your ass kicked, go look at Palantir, go study Palantir. Palantir is the fastest growing public B2B company now. It's growing 50% at 4 billion in revenue. And it was growing 13% 2 years ago. How the hell is a public company do you go from 13 to 49? Now, some of this is defense contracts, and some folks think it's a troubled or toxic company or whatever. But if you really look at it, it's all because they went ultra deep on AI, ultra deep for real. Now, they always did machine learning. This is the whole point